For years, Diddy stood at the top. Billionaire status, liquor deals, global influence. But behind the image was something much darker. A secret world of power plays, silent rituals, and billion-dollar betrayal. It all seemed to start with a deal with Diageo, the company behind Ciroc. On paper, it made him rich, but when things went left, so did everything else. The lawsuits, the silence, the stories. Was this just a business fallout, or the unraveling of a life lived in shadows? This is more than just a liquor deal gone wrong. This is the untold story behind Diddy's empire.
All right, we are getting some breaking news right now. ABC News has just confirmed that Sean Diddy Combs was arrested tonight.
Welcome to another episode of Lost Society. Today, we dive into the rise and fall of Sean Diddy Combs, a figure whose influence shaped the music industry, but whose recent actions have cast a long shadow. Join me as I take you into the depths of a lost society. Born on November 4, 1969 in Harlem, New York, Sean John Combs, known by many names such as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy, the Diddler, emerged from humble beginnings. Raised in Mount Vernon, New York, he lost his father at the age of 2. Despite these challenges, Combs attended Howard University before leaving to pursue his passion for music. Starting as an intern at Uptown Records, he quickly rose to become a talent director in 1993. He founded Bad Boy Records, signing artists like the notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Mace. His debut album, No Way Out, which came out in 1997, solidified his status in hip-hop culture. However, in recent years, Combs has faced serious allegations. In 2024, he was arrested on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. Federal agents raided his property, uncovering evidence that led to his indictment. The charges stem from accusation of orchestrating a large-scale sex trafficking operation involving drug-fueled parties and coercion, with testimonies from former associates and ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura shedding light on the alleged abuses. Today, we explore how a man who once epitomized success in the music industry became the center of one of the most talked about legal battles in recent history. Ancient cultures around the world have long practiced the use of sexual rituals and psychedelics as portals to the spiritual realm. From the mystery schools of Egypt to the ayahuasca ceremonies of the Amazon, the idea of reaching higher states of consciousness through ecstasy, pain, and sacrifices is as old as civilization itself. But what happens when ancient rituals are adopted by the elite and distorted into tools of control rather than enlightenment? It's rumored that in order to become a mogul in today's society, one must offer something in return. Not money, but loyalty, silence, and sometimes a sacrifice. For years, whispers surrounding Sean Combs' private life, allegations of secret parties, coercion, manipulation, and ritual-like behaviors have surfaced, painting a picture not just of excess, but of something more sinister. Former associates speak of controlled environments, confiscated phones, and women handpicked for elite guests. One thing we can see is that Diddy and others in higher positions who find themselves in these kind of situations tend to dehumanize the people they victimize. Usually it ends up being the ones around them or closest to them. In this case, I can say that he viewed his women as objects, not human beings.
It wasn't just a party. It was a performance. Everyone had a role, and you played yours or you paid the price.
I stumbled across an interesting picture of Diddy. Tattooed on his back is a large mural of the Haitian voodoo spirit, Erzulie Dantor, a popular goddess who was rumored to play an important role in the Haitian Revolution. What's wild is, Erzulie actually has a sister named Frida, the goddess of love and romance, which is the complete opposite of Dantor. Dantor is known as a fierce, dangerous protector of mothers, children, gay men, and gay women. She's usually shown holding a baby in one arm and a dagger in the other. The 2 scars on her face are said to come from a fight between her and Frida, where Duntar stabbed her sister in the heart with a dagger. Seeing that tattoo makes you wonder, Diddy definitely had some kind of interest in dark magic, or at the very least, he was aware of it. As the veil lifts, a disturbing pattern begins to emerge, one that mirrors the blueprint of cult-like organization, isolation, manipulation, reward, and punishment, all centered around a charismatic leader. Is this just another celebrity downfall, or are we glimpsing the inner workings of a hidden system, a lost society that has existed in the shadows for decades? In this episode, we continue unraveling the web behind P. Diddy's empire and the cost of fame. When former girlfriend Cassie Ventura took to the stand, the veil was finally lifted, and what spilled out was decades worth of secrets. What she described wasn't just toxic, it was twisted. Allegedly, Sean Combs, Diddy, the diddler, as some are now calling him, had very particular taste. According to Ventura, he would hire male sex workers to perform on her while he watched, or worse, directed the entire scene like some depraved director. Now I understand. Consenting adults are into different things, but for the life of me, I can't wrap my head around what pleasures a man finds in watching his partner be with another man. Unless it was never about pleasure, maybe it was just about the power. Allegedly, these sessions ended with the male performer finishing on or in her, before Diddy would take Cassie to the bedroom for his own time alone with her. And I know I'm not the only one asking, what exactly was going on behind that closed door? What was left to do or undo? This wasn't a one-time fantasy. According to Ventura, it was a regular part of their relationship. These events were so frequent, they even had a name, freak-offs. To some, it sounds like extreme kink, but to others, it looks like a deeply orchestrated psychological game. And when I thought it couldn't get any worse, boy, did it. Cassie even spoke of a time when Diddy had the male worker pee in her mouth. She mentioned that it was so much urine she started to choke. Domination, humiliation, submission, all wrapped in the illusion of choice. It leaves many wondering, was Kim Porter subjected to the same treatment? Witnesses close to their relationship have spoken, alleging physical abuse behind closed doors. And then there's the chilling rumor that never quite left the public's consciousness, that Diddy may have had something to do with Kim Porter's ultimate death. They say Kim was working on a tell-all book, allegedly, till she suddenly passed from pneumonia in 2018. But for those who knew her, questions remain. How does a healthy woman in the prime of her life vanish just as she prepares to go public? It's no secret that Hollywood likes to party, but a party with Diddy was something else entirely. I've seen the footage, eyes glazed over, bodies drenched in sweat, people chugging water like it was the only thing keeping them tethered to reality. Sex, drugs, power. Even his former assistant, someone who lived in the inner circle, called him the devil. But I'd be naive to think Diddy is an anomaly. The truth is, there are many more prominent figures smiling for cameras, day by day, leading double lives by night. They rule through power, intimidation, and silence. And while I wish Diddy would be the catalyst to bring this hidden world crumbling down, the harsh truth is, he might just be a pawn. Some allege that Diddy's legal troubles didn't begin because of the abuse, but because he stepped out of line. After suing Ciroc's parent company for racial discrimination, the powers that be allegedly retaliated. So now we're left with a bigger question. Is Diddy being punished for his crimes or for breaking the code of silence? If any of this sounds familiar, it should. We've seen this before. A wealthy man surrounded by celebrities, politicians, royalty, hiding depravity behind philanthropy, charm, and billions. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a predator, he was a gatekeeper, a broker of secrets. Like Diddy, Epstein threw lavish parties, but those weren't just parties. They were recruitment centers, rituals masked as luxury. The guest lists were more like maps to a hidden world. one where exploitation was currency and silence was survival. Diddy may not have had an island, but his penthouse, his studios, his compounds, they were said to operate by the same unspoken rules. Phones taken, NDA signed, and what happened inside, no one could speak of it. Until now. The alleged freak-offs, the coercion, the power plays, they echo Epstein's method, a system designed to break down boundaries, to turn people into objects, and to make sure they couldn't walk away. It's not about sex, it's about control, ritual ownership. We were told Epstein was a one-off monster amongst men, but what if he wasn't the exception? What if he was the blueprint? If Epstein was the spider, maybe Diddy was another part of the web, smaller, but just as venomous. And the deeper we look, the more we realize this isn't about just one man. It's about a system, a lost society hiding in plain sight. As of now, Sean Diddy Combs is being held at the detention center in Brooklyn, no longer surrounded by luxury, but still silence and scrutiny. But what's even more telling is who isn't speaking. A-list celebrities, his longtime collaborators, close friends, industry heavyweights, they've gone quiet, publicly distant. No words of support, no words of condemnation, just silence. Now, whether the silence is to protect their brands from association or is driven by something much darker, fear of exposure, fear of being next, we may never know. But the hush feels louder than any statement. For as long as I've known Diddy, there's always been a shadow trailing him, a different energy when the camera stops rolling, an unspoken truth about the way he carried himself, controlled, calculated, cold. It's strange that only now, after decades of rumors, lawsuits, and settlements, the hammer finally comes down. Not because there was suddenly enough evidence, but because something shifted. Maybe he crossed the line, maybe he became a liability.